Annyeonghaseyo, this is meowmurai. Let's continue our game of 9 R.I.P. running on Nintendo Switch 2. Thanks. Talking like this with Sayaka made me realize my life had gone back to normal. After talking with Sayaka about it, I'll have to talk to Mom. Determined not to let anything else interfere, I set my eyes squarely on the future. It was then that I found that small spark Sena had talked about. I mean, obviously, Sena didn't pass or cross over, so otherwise we would not be continuing playing. A few days had passed since I started to focus on my future career path. The small spark I found came to me in a dream. One day after school, at Sayaka's suggestion, I decided to head to that cafe.
Ah, Ishiki-san. 来てくれるのを待ってたよ。最近顔を見ないなって気になっていたんだ。
The owner spoke gently to me with a smile on his face. In his hands, he held a sheet of paper, which immediately attracted Sayaka's eye.
アルバイト募集？それ見せてくれませんか？
ああ、これね。どうぞ。ホールスタッフ募集のポスターだよ。
The owner put the poster down on the table we were sitting at. Sayaka stared at it with wide eyes.
よかった。高校生でも大丈夫みたい。
Hmm? A part-time job? Here?
もう私じゃなくてミサだよ。
Huh?
この喫茶店はセナさんと小さなきっかけを見つけた場所でしょ。それなら大きな夢も見つかるかも。なんて飛躍しすぎかな。
Her idea was so wonderful, I struggled to find a reply.
よくわからないけど、一色さんここでアルバイトしてくれるの？
Oh, well, I'm not sure. A job here? I'll have to talk to my mom about it. This was a place I really cherished, and I'd be surrounded by sweets I loved. It was the first time I felt my heart leap with excitement since coming back. Well, leapt with life when your soul returned, so that was pretty exciting. I had always had difficulty feeling confident about myself, but that day it was different. When I had an idea of what I wanted to do, talking to my mom about it didn't seem so intimidating after all. I still didn't know if she would let me get a part-time job, but even if she just told me she'd think it over, I'd be happy. I felt that I was moving forward. I was making progress. Surrounded by those good feelings, I realized it had been a month since I woke up. I had eaten dinner, taken a shower, and I was drying my wet hair with a towel. I plopped myself down on the bed. Looking up at the ceiling, I couldn't help but think about the two of them. Sena, Koyo, I wonder if they've crossed over. Even now, there were things that would remind me of the time I spent with them. Sena, most of all. Lost in these thoughts, I heard my phone ring. A call? Now? Who could it be? I got up and picked up my phone off my desk. Mushi Mushi? Sorry, I was in the bath. So what is it? Site? I put her phone on speakerphone and tapped on the URL Sayaka sent me in our messaging app. This is a paranormal site? Number 9. I did as I was told and scrolled down from the top. When I saw the title of the 9th link, my heart stopped. Meet Sena at Beachfront Park. Huh? I guess that rumor's still going around. It was such a big urban legend around here, it made sense it wouldn't die down. No, there's no way. I told you, didn't I? Santa said he was crossing over.
それを聞いていたからこそ電話したんだよ。あなたは知っておいた方がいいと思って。
Sayaka's words only filled me with worry. What do you mean?
確実な情報ではないと思うけど。
Sayaka prefaced her answer, paused, and then continued.
セナさんが今どうなっているか知りたいならそのスレを見てみて。
Sayaka, don't hang up, okay? Please?
絶対に切らないよ。ゆっくりでいいから。
I took a deep breath and with a shaking finger, tapped on the link to the thread. The picture shown on the screen displayed what looked like a ghostly image on a phone camera. That's Sena. I don't know how you could tell, but I had no idea if the image was real or not, but it was most definitely Sena. The rest of the comments were debating if it was real. I continued to scroll through the comments, but my thoughts were elsewhere. Maybe he really didn't cross over.
セナさんの心残りってどんなものなんでしょうか。悪いものではないと思うんですけど、他の幽霊よりも気配が強いというか、あなたたちがここへ来る少し前から気配を察知できたほどで。
I began to think that Hibiki's thoughts were correct after all. So him saying he could cross over was a lie. Sayaka. There were comments on here saying the same thing, but couldn't this be a fake?
それは否定できない。心霊写真はトリックも多いから。
I see. In that case, I bet it's just a hoax. I mean, he told me. It's just rumors, no doubt.
そうだった。私ったら噂を鵜呑みにして電話しちゃって本当にごめんね。
Nah, don't worry about it. I was pretty surprised too. Sayaka and I talked for a little bit after that, and then we hung up. Mom's working a night shift tonight. I glanced up at the twinkling stars and dashed out of my room. As I ran through the night, the calm part of my brain began asking questions. It's a rumor. There's no way it's true. And even if it were true, what could I do about it? I can't see him. I can't talk to him. And yet, when I thought he might still be there, I couldn't stand still. Unable to sort out my emotions, I stopped when I reached the park. Before I could even catch my breath, I yelled, "Sena, are you there?" My voice echoed through the darkness and was absorbed by the starry night sky. Sena. I knew there would be no response. Yet I waited patiently for his reply. I looked around and, as expected, saw no one. I believe he's crossed over? Is that what I want to believe? Yeah. What am I doing? I took a deep breath of the cold night air in and finally caught my breath. I'm not going to let some silly anonymous message board fool me. Sena wouldn't lie to me. I believed him. He's crossed over. Sena, you've crossed over, right? I'm choosing to believe you. Then, as my mumbled words were carried by the wind, I thought I saw something in the darkness shimmer, and my eyes darted towards the object. Sena? I thought I'd felt the slightest presence of something there, but only darkness surrounded me. Staring into the shadows, I began to feel uneasy. I believe. I have to believe. I kept saying those words to myself over and over, but my anxiety would not leave me. What would I do if Sena ended up as a wraith? The next day, I couldn't sleep at all last night. Had Sena crossed over? Had he become a wraith? Once I started thinking about those things, I just couldn't stop. With racing thoughts in my mind, I couldn't sleep. Groggily, I got up and began getting ready for school. When the lunch break started, I walked to the cafeteria with Sayaka.
それでね、心霊研究をしているサークルが。ねえ、聞いてる？おーい。
Yeah, what happened? Sayaka stared blankly at me. I couldn't remember what she was talking about, and her annoyed stare left me uncomfortable. Sayaka?
セナさんのこと考えているの？
How did you know?
だって昨日の今日だからさ。私が余計な噂を教えちゃったばかりに。
I know. It's just a rumor. It has to be. I knew if I made too much of it, it would only hurt Sayaka's feelings too. With that in mind, I tried to put on a smile to make things right.
嘘ついてるってわかるんだから。本当は割り切れてないんでしょ？
Of course, there was no fooling my best friend. She saw right through me.
一つだけセナさんの行方を知る方法があるんだけど。
How? I quickly jumped forward, leaving Sayaka to look surprised and then smile.
あんまり期待されると困るかも。私自身一度も成功したことないからさ。
As she spoke, Sayaka began rummaging through her bag below the table. What she took out from her bag was something I'd seen before. Wait, Sayaka, are you talking about using the spirit board? Maybe my reaction was a little too harsh, but Sayaka merely blinked back, surprised.
そうだけど、もしかして私の知らないところでこっくりさんをやったことがあるの？
I had told Sayaka most of the things that happened to me when I was a ghost, but I left out the bit about the spirit board. Actually, once, when I was a ghost. To say that she was captivated by my words would be an understatement. For the time being, I asked Sayaka if I could borrow her spirit board tools to try it out. Sayaka had cram school that day and looked very disappointed she wouldn't be able to join me. Then, after school, the evening sun stained the classroom. I took a seat at my desk and unfolded the spirit board equipment. Here we go. Oh, spirit of the board, please come forth. I chanted slowly, as though I was making a wish or a prayer. Then, the coin I was holding began to shake. Then it slowly slid over to a single word on the tip of the paper. Yes. Before I could even ask my question, the coin began to move around the board. You again. I can't see him, but based on that response, it has to be the same spirit as before. I breathed a sigh of relief then. Out with it. It was easy to picture his annoyed face staring down at me, and so I quickly asked him my question. The rumors about the ghost in Beachfront Park, the boy gazing at the stars, I want to know more about him. Has he not crossed over yet? Does he still roam this earth? The coin began moving slowly before stopping at... Yes. Confronted by his honest answer, I felt a sharp pain in my heart. The 10-yen coin began to shake, as if pushing me to ask the next question. Please tell me one more thing. Has he become a wraith? The coin paused for a moment, and then glided over towards the answer. No. Thank goodness. Perhaps because I was so worried about him, I accidentally let out a loud sigh. But if he hasn't crossed over yet, that means there's still a chance he'll become a wraith. I knew I had to do something. For now, I wanted to meet Sena. Wait, will he still remember me? He only had his memory for 2 days. As I thought these things, the coin began to shake furiously again. Sorry. There's something else I want to know. Does he still remember me? I was so nervous my fingers shook, but I made every effort to ensure I didn't let go. Then the coin began to move again. Yes. The moment I saw the results, a wave of relief washed over me. Thank goodness he remembers me. I felt a warm sensation spread through my chest. Either way, if he hasn't crossed over yet, I have to meet him. I have to find some way to help him. But I still didn't know how to meet him. That's right. I can ask how I can meet him. I'm sorry. I promise this is my last question. Can you tell me how to meet him? I stared intently down at the coin, but for a very long time the coin remained perfectly still. Does that mean there's no way? I don't care if I can't see him. I just want to talk to him. Just then, the coin began to move. Ask friend. Friend? My friend? Is he talking about Sayaka? As I tilted my head in confusion, the coin began to move again. His friend. His? Is he talking about a friend of Sena's? And then it struck me. Koyo. I had completely forgotten about Mary. Koyo had the ability to connect the living and the dead. Completely forgot about Koyo. That wasn't very nice. After thanking and saying goodbye to the spirit board, I headed straight to the park. I wanted to find a way to reach Koyo, even though I knew he might not be there. Still, I knew if I kept calling, there's a chance he'd hear me. I walked around the park, whispering Koyo's name. Koyo.
ねえ、あの子、さっきからブツブツ言ってて怖くない？
聞こえるだろ。それにジロジロ見るなって。
だって。
I must look pretty weird right now. I can't really do this with so many people around. I should have come at night. Finding my embarrassment, I continued to desperately call out Koyo's name, but my phone remained silent. Then later that evening, I was completely unable to relax. Even as I watched TV with my sister, my thoughts continued to drift to Koyo's whereabouts. I wonder if he's watching the stars with Sena. Looking at the clock, I saw it was past 8 p.m. Hey sis, I'm going to buy some dessert at the convenience store. Want anything? As I stood up, my sister grinned.
甘いものならもう買ってあるんだな。冷蔵庫にケーキ入ってるぞ。
Oh. Why today of all days?
なんだよ、ケーキじゃダメだったか？
No, that sounds great. Thanks. I'd be happy any other day. Trying not to seem suspicious, I reluctantly headed to the fridge.
なあ、今度は何に悩んでんの？
I stopped and turned to my sister. As she stared back at me, I could see her eyes were filled with concern.
進路についてだったら、母さんも理解してきてると思うし、そんなに心配することないよ。喫茶店でのアルバイトについては、私からも母さんに掛け合うからさ。
Sis. It's not about my career path survey. I didn't know what to say. I felt guilty for making her worry about me. There's someone I want to help, but it's not going very well. With that, the worry in my sister's eyes disappeared, and she looked at me with surprise.
あんた、好きな男でもいんのか？
Huh? Why would you think that?
勘かな。
Man, she's good.
それで、どうなの？
It's well,
うわ、その反応。マジかよ。まさかコンビニって言っておいて、そいつに会いに行こうとしてた？ははなるほどな。道理でケーキに食いつかないわけだ。
She seemed to see right through me, despite not having all the facts. If she figured out he was a ghost, now that would have been really surprising.
恋愛ね。応援してやりたいとは思うけど、この時間に誘う男ってどうなの？
It's not like that. I just wanted to check on him on my own. I might have said too much.
様子を見に行ってどういうことだよ。てっきり待ち合わせでもしてんのかと思ったけど。
Well, this guy, he's a bit frail, so I have to go see him. As I awkwardly tried to explain things to her, my sister's expression shifted rapidly.
もしかして病院に入院してるとか？あ、入院中に出会ったのか？
Huh? Oh, yes? Yeah, while I was in the hospital. I guess that's not entirely wrong.
そっか、そんなことがあったのか。でも、この時間だと面会はできないだろう。まさか。 面会できないくらいの重症患者。
Sis?
マジかよ。そんな切ない声をしてんのかよ。全部多難じゃんか。
She's been binging those TV dramas again.
よし、行ってこい。
Huh? Are you sure it's okay?
いいに決まってんだろ。あんたの愛を応援するよ。
Thanks. I'll be back in a bit. Maybe about an hour.
頑張れよ。
I felt a bit guilty, but at least now I was able to get out of the house. Koyo, I hope you're still there. Then, as I headed towards the door,
ミサ、別れが来てもへこむんじゃないぞ。覚悟。
oh, whoops. I almost forget what button it is.
別れが来てもへこむんじゃないぞ。覚悟だけはしておけよな。
She really made up her own thing here, but somehow it fits.
あんたの愛はきっと相手に届くよ。でも相手の思いを尊重することも忘れるなよ。
Respect his wishes. Thanks, sis. Well, I'm off. After saying goodbye to my sister, I headed to the park, her words still echoing in my mind. Respect his wishes.
今なら僕は君を笑って見送れるから。今以上思いが大きくなればきっと僕は君を引き止めてしまう。僕独占欲が強くてさ。だから今がちょうどいいんだ。
What I'm doing right now, it might be going against Seina's wishes, but he also hasn't crossed over yet. Is it wrong for me to try and reach out to him? Koyo, are you there? Even if I was wrong, I'd come too far to back down now. Please, Koyo, tell me, please let me talk to Seina. I didn't want him to turn into a wraith. I'm just going to keep coming until you connect me with him. Actually, no, I won't leave. Please just let me talk to him. Let me know if he's all right. Staring down at my phone, my heart leapt at the glitching display. The ringing of the phone ceased, and a familiar voice came from the phone. Koyo's voice. Koyo? Is that really you? His voice was filled with nostalgia, stirring emotions deep within me. Yeah, long time no see. After I spoke, I heard an exasperated voice reply back to me. Huh? I'm sorry. It all just happened so fast, and... Thank you so much for taking such good care of me, then. After letting out a small sigh, I turned to the real reason I was calling. Is Seina with you right now? Do you think I could speak to him? Koyo seemed to have anticipated this question and answered dismissively. You lied to me. As soon as the words left my lips, I could almost see him wincing back. Even though I couldn't see him, it was clear from the tone of his voice that he genuinely felt bad. You lied to me. You told me not to worry because you would be crossing over. Do you know there have been tons of posts about seeing your spirit on paranormal message boards? If you really are fading away, why are there more and more sightings of you? Tell me the truth, Sena. You aren't going to be crossing over anytime soon, are you? If you would have told me, I would have stuck around to help you.
ダメって言ったはずだよミサちゃん
Why?
あの時と答えは変わらない僕のせいで君の人生を潰したくなかったんだもう君とは歩む道が違うだからさようなら
Wait. Despite my efforts to stop him, the sound of him hanging up the phone echoed in my ears. I had a feeling this might happen. Yet being rejected by him directly impacted me far more than I thought it would. And his voice was colder than I remembered. Trying not to show the tears welling in my eyes, I crouched down on the spot. I wonder if Sin is still here. No, he's probably gone. Despite trying not to let it bother me, our second parting was far more painful than the first. Sina's perspective. I kneeled down next to her. She looked devastated. Seeing her back trembling slightly, I began to understand. Is she crying? I found myself overwhelmed by her feelings for me. I wanted to wipe away her tears. I wanted to hold her, but there was nothing I could do.
通話だけでよかったな。
どういう意味
ひどい顔してるから、とてもあいつには見せられない。
Maybe he was right.
彼女とはそれなりに綺麗な形でお別れできたかなと思ってたのにこうしてまた声が聞けるといろいろ決心に揺らぎが出ちゃうね。ねえこうよ今成仏して最速で転生とかしたらもう一度彼女に会えたりするかな。年齢差20とかになるかもだけど年下の男は嫌いかななんて。
バカなこと言ってないで普通に成仏しろ。
If I could, I would have done so long ago. Even after facing my own death, my lingering regrets were far too great to let me cross over. Besides, it looks like I've added one more thing to regret.
僕はさ割り切ったつもりだったんだ。アイドルのセナは死んだ。もうみんなに声を届けることはできない。諦めようって。でもどうしてかな。今は消えるのが前より怖い。どうして僕はあの子と同じ時を生きられなかったのかな。
It would be easier just to forget again, but I also didn't want to forget. Unable to sort out these conflicting feelings, I stayed close to Misa, looked up at the stars above, and closed my eyes. Misa's perspective. Perhaps it was due to the lack of sleep, or from crying so much, but I woke up the next morning with a feeling of heavy burden and despair. I went to school as I normally did, but I didn't listen to a single word. I was so distracted. I told Sayaka about what happened during lunch, and seeing my state, her face grew somber too. I spent the entire day in a kind of daze. As I left the classroom and headed for home, I noticed the mirror at the landing of the staircase. This was the last place we went on the day of our date. Little did I know it would be the first and last of our dates. Memories flooding back, I approached the mirror. My reflection looked terrible. Though technically alive, my face was lifeless, like that of a ghost. I should have believed what Hibiki said to me that day. But even if I did believe him, would that have changed anything? I gently touched the mirror. Sina, I can't stop worrying about you. I'm worried you'll turn into a wraith. Suddenly, I felt an icy coldness creep up my hand as I touched the mirror. I should head home. Not wanting to head straight home, I wandered the streets, hoping the change of scenery would improve my mood. But wherever I went, memories of Sena flooded my mind, leading only to heavier and heavier sighs escaping my lips. Sena has Koya with him. He'll be fine, even without me. So right now, I can only pray. I approached the offering box. I threw in a coin and rang the bell. Before praying, I clapped my hands. Oh God, who spirited me away. Just like you saved me, please save Senna. As I prayed from the bottom of my heart.
疲れておりますぞ。
Turning to face the voice, I saw the priest who was at the scene of my accident. What did you say?
疲れておりますぞ。とそう言ったのですよ。わしの見立てでは、お嬢さんには霊らしきものが。
A spirit? What kind of spirit is it?
え
I mean, what kind of spirit? Is it a handsome-looking young man?
ちょっと落ち着きなさい。
Sorry. After taking a few deep breaths to calm myself, I began talking to the priest again. About this spirit.
それがですな。ついているのは感じられても、おぼろげでよく見えないのですよ。だが、悪いものではない。お嬢さんを守っているような温かい光を感じるからの。
A warm light. I couldn't help but think of Sena. Does that mean he's worried about me too?
その霊が気になるのですか？
I nodded slightly, then mumbled softly. He's very important to me. I want to help him. He's stuck wandering this earth. Our worlds may be separated, but there must be something I can do to help him. The priest patted my shoulder and smiled warmly.
少し待っていなさい。
A few minutes later, the priest returned, cradling something gently in his hands. It looked like a curved stone. It emitted light similar to a shining star. What is that?
その質問に答える前に、この神社が何の神を祀っているかご存知ですかな？
I don't. I'm sorry. But my mother always said it had something to do with love, and doing well in business.
さよう。ここで祀られているのは、大国主の神の分け御霊。人と人の縁を結ぶことに長けた神がおられるのです。
That means...
この勾玉は、そんな当社に昔から伝わる曰く付きの神具。力が強すぎて悪いものをも引きつけるやもしれんが、必要なら持っていきなされ。
Why would you give me something that might attract negative forces? Really? Is that okay? I hesitantly blinked at the Magatama before graciously accepting it.
迷えるものを導くのが神職の務め。というわけで持っていきなされ。きっとご利益がありますぞ。
Thank you so much. Then I bowed deeply to the priest. While holding tightly to the Magatama, I left the shrine. With the sacred stone in hand, I headed for a beachfront park. If Santa still existed in this world, I couldn't think of any other place he could be. I exhaled deeply as I approached the park and took a quick look around. He must be around here somewhere. I firmly gripped the Magatama, and just as I was about to call out to him, I heard the loud bark of a dog. A dog.
あれミサ
Ah, Sayaka. There was Sayaka walking her beloved dog, Donna Tomodaru. Oh, that's right. This is her and Donna Tomodaru's typical route.
制服姿ってことはまだ家に帰ってなかったんだ。
Yeah, I had an errand to run here.
それってひょっとしてセナさんが関係している？
Yeah. I'm sure she knew what I was doing the moment she saw me standing alone in the park. Sayaka spoke, a thoughtful look on her face.
昼間学校で聞いた話ではセナさんが悪霊化する可能性があるからだから助けてあげたいんだよね。
Yes, no matter how much he refuses, I want to do whatever I can to help. Before he became a wraith, Before he becomes a wraith, I want to help him cross over.
悪霊化は怖いものなんだろうし、あなたの気持ちはわかるよ。でもセナさんはどうなんだろう。
What do you mean?
セナさんに成仏する意志はあるのかなって。
二人は自分のこと考えて、セナは成仏するように、ミサは体に戻るように。いい。
Okay.
セナ、返事は？
あ、うん。わかったよ。
When we talked about crossing over before, Sena's face clouded over. Could it be that Sena... Maybe he doesn't want to cross over. In that case, I made a terrible mistake.
そうだったとして、どうして成仏したくないんだろう。
It must be. Thanks to the time I spent with Sena, I knew the answers right away. Sena always wanted to live as an idol. Perhaps... could it be? Seeing that Sena is an urban legend now. Even now, he's waiting for her fans to come to the park. Sayaka looked surprised, but she didn't say anything. Seeing that I had told her everything about Sena up to now, she seemed to accept it. Maybe that won't be so bad for now. I mean, there are fans coming to see him. But what if they leave? I frowned uneasily. What should I do? Well, let's talk to him. I have to do something to help Sena. He might view it as a nuisance, but I can't let him become an evil spirit. If the rumors of him being an urban legend ever did die down, he'd be left here all alone. It was possible that Koyo would still be there as well, but who could say for sure?
私にもできることがあったら言ってね。協力するから。
Right, thank you. I know I can count on you. Besides, you're already helping me. In truth, Sayaka had already helped me by listening and giving me great advice. Then Tonodamaru, who had been curled up at my feet, twitched his ears and stood up. Then he peered out towards the horizon and began barking.
ああ、はいはい。散歩中断しちゃってごめんね。ミサ、そろそろ帰ろう。もうだいぶ時間も遅いし。
She was right. It was fairly late. I don't want to worry my mom. I'll come back here tomorrow. Yeah, let's go. The two of us began to head home, but... Tonodamaru refused to follow Sayaka's lead and instead kept barking at the same spot.
どうしたの、トノダマル。
This is like what happened before. That's right. I was right here.
トノダマルったら、はあ、前もここでこんなことがあったんだよね。
She huffed as she spoke. Why is it that people who are alive don't seem to notice us?
そんなの無理に決まってんじゃん。霊力ある人間なら別だけど、普通の人間にはまず無理。人間には無理でも、犬とか猫なら反応する時もある。赤ん坊もだっけか。どうだったかな。
Wait, I think I understand.
まさか。
I nodded and Sayaka merely blinked at me. When I was a living ghost and I wanted Sayaka to notice me, I tried calling Tonodamaru over. The exact same thing was happening now. I stepped in front of Tonodamaru with trembling legs and nervously called out to him. Sena? Are you there? The night wind tousled my hair. As I waited for an answer, a surprised Sayaka shouted out to me.
どう？何か聞こえた？
No, nothing.
そっか。でも聞こえないだけで。
Sayaka tried to say something else, but she was interrupted by Tonodamaru pulling the leash away from her.
あ、ちょっと。
Sayaka began getting pulled towards the entrance of the park.
ミサ、早く。先に行っちゃうよ。
Yeah, I'll be right there. I went to chase after Sayaka, but something caused me to turn around. There must have been something here which caused Tonodamaru to react like that. I knew it was Sena. It was the words of the priest at the Tsukumo shrine that caused me to be so certain. A warm spirit watching over me. That must be Sena. I couldn't see him, but he was there, so I'll come back again. Sena, I'll come back again. No matter how many times you reject me, I won't give up. Because I want you to be happy. I didn't want to say to him that I didn't want him to become a wraith, though that was a better way to say it. Still, holding the Magatama in my hand, I clenched it with determination. I want to see you. I want to see your face. It would make me so relieved if... A strong gust of wind swept through, carrying my whisper with it. The Magatama I was holding grew hot and started to tremble. Huh? There he was, standing right before me. Close enough to touch, yet untouchable. I felt no sensation as our lips pressed together, but my heart raced all the same, wrapped in the sensation of his undeniable presence.
つくづくでも困ったことに嬉しさを覚える僕がいるんだ
As I opened my mouth to speak, Sena smiled wistfully at me.
やっぱりどうしたって好きなんだよね君のこと
As soon as the wind died down, Sena faded away. It was as though he had never even been there in the first place. I gently touched my lips. Then, opening the hand I had clenched, I gazed down at the Magatama. It had turned a discolored black as though it had lost its power. The power of the Magatama. It allowed me to meet Sena. I put the Magatama back in my bag and turned to where I'd seen him moments before. I love you too, which is why I can't leave things like this. Our confessions just missed one another. Yet I was sure my words reached him. Then, with a smile on my face, I ran towards the entrance of the park. Oh, we're going to get Sena's perspective. Oh, chapter 8. Since my miraculous reunion with Sena, I replayed the moments over and over again in my head, and my heart filled with joy each time. But his confession that he had feelings for me carried more than just excitement. He said he was both troubled and happy. Hearing him say that to me only made me feel filled with renewed resolve. I wanted to help Sena somehow. However, there was something else I had to do first. The next day, I was off from school the next day, but I still got up early and quickly left my house to visit the Tsukumo Shrine. The Magatama I had received from the priest had turned black, and I went to apologize to him. I'm very sorry. I apologetically placed the Magatama back in the priest's hands.
これは一体
The truth is, yesterday I met someone very special. Then after I met him, I looked at the Magatama and it became like this.
それは良かったですな。いや、渡してみたはいいが、会える確証はなかったのでほっとしました。
I'm certain it was all thanks to this stone, so thank you very much. After accepting my thanks, the priest gave me a small smile and a nod. You see, the thing is, I realize this is quite brazen of me to ask, but is there any way to restore its power?
おそらくだが、時間が経てば元の力を取り戻すじゃろう。多分。
How much time does it normally take?
それははっきりとは分からんでの。若き頃のわしなら、あるいはできたやもしれんが。
He must have been quite strong when he was younger. Even when I was a living ghost, the priest seemed to be able to sense me. His power was clearly the real deal. I guess that means we just have to wait, huh?
まあ、そう肩を落としなさんな。お嬢さんについている霊は、今日も変わらず見守っておるぞ。
Oh, you mean he's here right now? Seeing the priest nod in response, I began looking around me. I knew I shouldn't be able to see him, but I still find myself looking for Sena anyway. Seeing me look around like that, the priest let out a troubled sigh.
わしもめっきり年を取った。あまり期待せずに待っていなさい。
With that, he went and retrieved a ceremonial staff often used for exorcisms.
悪霊の狼哀れみたまえ恵みたまえ先みたま口みたま守りたまえ先はえたまえ愛縁起縁も縁なれば写しを隔離を隔て途切れたその絵にし愛縁起縁も縁なれば写しを隔離を隔て途切れたその絵にしつながるよかしこみかしこみ申す
Then, after raising his voice, he suddenly stopped and strained his ears to listen.
なるほど。では確かに伝えるとしよ
Really? Did you hear him? Did you hear Sena's voice?
う。しかと聞こえたぞ。こう言うておった。ミサちゃんの気持ちはありがたい。
That's it?
何やら他にも言うておるようだが、どうにも聞こえづらくての。最近耳が遠くなっておってな。いや、年は取りたくないもんじゃ。
It doesn't really seem like being hard of hearing would apply to speaking with ghosts.
鏡とな。
A mirror?
鏡のところへとかすかに聞こえた気がするんだが。
If you really did say mirror, then there was only one place I could think of that made sense. Thank you very much. With his prayer complete, I bowed deeply and began to run. I'm going to go to the school after hours. I mean, really? Anyway, we'll stop it there. This is meowmurai. You've been watching 9 R.I.P. running on Nintendo Switch 2. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.